everyone. Happy Monday. Hello, hello. Everyone that's coming in, hello. I have special guests with me tonight. Oh my goodness. Hello. I see somebody just came in. We're not going to be before you long, but I do want you to recognize that we have Vertex in the house on tonight. They are our sponsor, our title sponsor for the ninth annual Warriors Convention, which is happening this week. Yes, this week. And before we get started, yes, you can still register. Yes, that's still a thing. We are taking people all the way up to the very last day. So if you want to register, you can go to sickle cell convention.org and register there. Okay, so now that I've got that out of the way, I am going to introduce to you Miss Tasha Lee from Vertex. Hi, Tasha.
Hi, Sharonda. I always love your enthusiasm. You get us all upbeat and ready to have a conversation. So,
Exactly. Listen, I cannot be anybody other than myself. I've
exactly.
tried. I've tried to be the calm and cool. Yeah, it doesn't work for me.
But you
It's
bring a
just not
smile to
me.
all our faces every time.
This company, you guys, I absolutely love them. It's not just because of, basically, if you're in the sickle cell world, you know exactly who they are, but it's because they are really, really for the warrior, the community, the caregiver. It's not in just about what's coming up for them, what's coming down the pikes. None of that. It's about what they can glean from the community. And every year at our events, they have been a part of it in one way or the other. Our last few events, they have been title sponsors, and we are so appreciative of them. We are so excited to have them again. Now, this year, guys, it is called the Warrior Reset. Oh my goodness. Now, the consortium is known for flipping the script. We're known for doing crazy things, and we're doing it again. This year, we are basically talking about the whole person. How can we treat the whole person? Not just an education, but what about our mind, our body, our spirit? That's what we're going to be talking about at the Warriors Convention this year. And so I wanted to bring in Vertex as our charter sponsor just to kind of talk about basically, who they are first. I want them to introduce themselves to you. If you don't know who they are, you may have been under a rock because Vertex has been around and they have really, really been a champion for this community. So I would like to already introduce Latasha, but I will let her introduce herself because she's actually going to be speaking at the convention as well. But this is our pre-conversation, so it's not going to be very long. But I want you to get to know our charter sponsor. So Tasha, tell us a little bit about you. Who are you? When did you come to Vertex? Why are you there? Give us a little scoop on who Tasha is. Well, I'm sorry, Latasha, Dr. Latasha Lee.
So, thank you so much, Sharonda. Some of you may recognize my face a bit. So, I've been in the sickle community for quite some time, both working in a professional capacity, but also I'm connected to the disease because I have several cousins living with the disease and cousins with trait. And so I saw from the program that you have an amazing trait track, which you have begun to incorporate in all of the Warriors' efforts. And so I think that's so important to discuss because so many individuals are impacted by trait. So I came to Vertex in December. So previously, many of you may have known me from my role at the American Society of Hematology, where I led the sickle cell disease multifaceted initiative, and so engaged with you guys a lot from our workshops and other things. And so I've always really lived by the motto. I remember when I first met Dr. Bailey, as well as Tosanola, back in, I think it was either 2014, 2015, I think it was, when we were launching our initiative. They were basically like, you can't do anything in the sickle community without the sickle community. So nothing for us
Yes,
without us. And I have
yes,
lived and breathed and dreamt that. I do it in everything that I do professionally as well as personally. So some of you know that I do things outside of my job associated with that. I've had warriors come up and say, I've read your publication on sickle cell. So yes, I am a
yes,
professor of epidemiology at George Washington, where I continue to do research around sickle cell disease. So I think it's really important to really bring evidence and data into some of the stories to really elevate the voice of the patient community and the warrior community. So, who is Vertex and why did I come there? So, I came to Vertex in December of 2021. So, I am what? A little over 7 months because I don't count that holiday break. So I came to Vertex really in January of this year. And my official title, which I know sometimes doesn't make a lot of sense externally, is Director of Policy and Alliance Development. But what that means is I am the head of national advocacy in our heme portfolio. So that's both sickle cell and thalassemia. And who is Vertex? Well, Vertex is a biotechnology company based in Boston, Massachusetts, that really is focused on bringing transformative change to every disease that we work on.
Yeah.
So many people may know work of Vertex in the cystic fibrosis or the hepatitis space, but wherever we've ever had our footprint, it's always been for transformative, not small steps, but big steps that are really going to make a difference for our
Yeah.
patients and their families. And so that's a little bit about me and a little bit about the company, but I really welcome this opportunity to chat with you today, as well as to really participate fully in this convention. I have several cousins who pinged me a couple weeks ago who I don't know are tuned in right now live or not, but they were like, Tasha, the Warriors convention's coming. Are you going to register? And I was like, yeah, I'll be there. You'll see. But my family has really embraced this conference, and we love as a family to really come and show up and
Oh,
learn.
that is awesome. Like, that just did my heart so much good. I saw it in our email and I was like, oh my gosh, that is so cool. Well, we are super excited that you've come over to Vertex, and yeah, we've known Dr. Latasha Lee from like, oh my gosh, years ago. Like, you've been in this space and you've really made your mark. So kudos to you, and thank you for being a champion. In the community, but also in family and outside of, just work. Like, you really making sure that what you talk about, you walk. A lot of people, they do a lot of talking, professionally, but then personally, it's not really personal to them. And so for you, it's totally different. So I love working with you because you get it. And, sometimes there's things that I don't have to explain because I know Tasha gets it.
Yeah.
And of course, I know that our guy, Scott, is not on to see him, and everybody loves Scott. And so I just want to make sure that I shout out Scott. I always mess up his name, so I only say Scott because I'm
We,
like,
we nicknamed him Goo. So Magoo. Magooin, yeah.
Magoo, and yes, I always mess up his last name, but we absolutely love Scott. He has been such a champion for us. And like when we're talking in different spaces, he knows so much more than you would think he knows about the Sickle Cell Consortium. Like, he can take, oh, wait, it's nothing for us without us. Like, that's what we are. I'm like, yes, Scott,
Absolutely.
let the people know. So he's amazing. So thank you guys for teaming up to make sure that our events are so awesome. Your lunch and learns have been so great, so educational, and I've been so blessed to see the back end and behind the scenes of some things that you guys are working on. And it's super exciting to know that we have somebody like you guys in this space to, champion the warrior, not just the warrior, but the entire family. Because what we always talk about, and what you were talking about earlier, is the trait track, which we absolutely love. And we've decided that every convention, every conversation has to start with the trait conversation, because without the trait conversation, you don't get the disease. You know what I'm saying? And so people forget that part. They're like, oh, it's just no. Without two people coming together with the trait, or one with the, you just got to make sure that you understand that trait warriors are so important. And there's so many of trait warriors out there who are not getting educated. And so it's really important to us that we started that with Dr. Tamia Austin and As One Foundation. Of course, they'll be back this year, as she said earlier, and they have an amazing track that's going to be happening this year. Now, we are bummed because, and somebody asked me earlier before this session started, where, when can they come? What's the address? We're
We are
still
virtual.
virtual, guys. We're still fully virtual.
Those
I
numbers are
know.
ticking up, so we got to be careful. We got to protect our
Yes.
warriors.
Yes. And I was like, I know we want to be in person, but because we are the only organization that's fully, about the patient, then it's kind of hard for Dr. Bailey as a doctor and as the owner of, the consortium to have a conference of this size be in person. So unfortunately, everybody, no, we will not be in person again this year. But we have discussed in all of our meetings that we hope that this is our last virtual, full virtual conference, and hopefully we're back in person next year. But again, depending on what the numbers say, depending on, what the information is that is out there, we will make that decision. But we want to make sure that it's the best for our warriors and our families, because it's just not our warriors. We have our families. And, with immune compromised community, we just cannot be careful enough. And this is just something Dr. Bailey wants to make sure that everybody is taken care of. So that was my whole
But you
spiel.
guys have amazing programming to keep it engaging, and that's
Yeah,
what I
you know
love
what?
about Warriors Convention,
You know
because it's
what?
not like isolated where you're just sitting and listening and listening. It's
Yeah.
active participation, and that's something that I've always loved about this convention.
See, you make me smile. Yes, you do.
Because I will be dancing. I've always danced at the block parties. This year I will pull out some paints. Don't anyone laugh at my painting skills. I will try to be a little artistic. What else? There's so much programming that you have.
We're going to have Beauty Within Sickle Cell this year again. We're bringing back the Beauty Within Sickle Cell, where we are honoring Jasmine Rivera and the Rivera family. Miss Maria, we absolutely love her. So we're bringing back Beauty Within Sickle Cell, where we're talking about skin health and makeup and advocacy. So we're bringing that back.
And
And
that's
we
lovely you're honoring Jasmine. She was a wonderful person.
oh
So
my
beautiful inside and out.
God,
And girl
yes.
used to have that face beat.
Yes, listen, and I was like, how are you doing this
Yeah.
every single day? Girl, listen, nope, not
Yes.
for me. Your girl just be like, listen, I was gonna put foundation and lip gloss or something
Look, I
because
only have my eyebrows on. Just kidding.
yeah, so all of our, and so that was one of the things for our team this year. And we know that we've done, of course, the education. We'll always do education because that is our heart. That's what we're all about. But the engaging part in the events that we're going to be doing, it's really literally for the community. So, like she said, the block party, oh, party. And last year we had to kick people out. We were like, all right, it's over. And then they sat there. No, it's over. So that was exciting. But yeah, the block party, we're going to do caricatures again this year where you get your face painted. We are doing rock, paper, scissors again, like old school bingo. It's sickle cell bingo. Like we are super excited. And then wait, Tasha, I don't know if you know, but we're doing a poetry jam at the block party this year.
Ah,
I know. Get our
exciting.
creatives involved. I'm so excited.
And
And
that's
we,
so good for whole person care. I
yes,
know that you spoke a bit about our lunch and learn, but
yes.
we will be double teaming it again, myself and Dr. Marjorie DeJoe Brewer.
Oh,
So everyone knows Dr. Marjorie, and
yes,
she is also not a stranger to sickle cell. She's on our Vertex team and our medical team, and she breaks things down for everyone so that the education is relatable. And I think that's very important when we talk about very complex topics like what
yes.
our efforts are pursuing, as well as she takes it back to the person.
Oh,
So
every time.
ensuring that mental health is there and the mental
Yes.
wellness and physical wellness. And it really is about the complete person.
Yeah. And I think that's what we aspire to do this year is it's all about the complete person. Like let's figure out a way because we've been in the house for so long. And though, people are getting out, they're moving around, man, that mental health is a mess. Like mental health matters is what we've been talking about in the sickle cell community. It matters. Like our mental health
Hashtag.
really, really, yes, you hear me? In a major way. So yeah, I can't wait because you guys did do that during the summit, the leadership summit, and it was so good. People were still asking questions on the app and everything. So by the way, guys, yes, we're back in Hoover. So if you have questions already, you can put those in there. If you want to talk to some of our speakers, you go to the app and it'll tell you exactly how to get in contact with them and things like that. So yes, we're back in Hoover. But yeah, your lunch and learns during the summit was really great. So I'm looking forward to it this year. Well, for this convention, I keep saying this year, but for this event. So I'm really looking forward to that. Can you tell me a little bit about like what is on the horizon for Vertex? Like what are you guys planning to do? What's your I won't say end game because I think with you guys it's not the end is cure for sickle cell. So I mean that's just it. That's
We
what
don't
I
actually
listen
use
to.
that word. You know, there's a number of regulatory bodies out there. We don't actually use that word. So I just have to pause there. But I think it really gears back to our mission, you know, transformative change and ensuring that the patient voice is in all that we do. And so it's not only looking at our particular approach, which is utilizing gene editing, but it's also looking at other approaches. So anything from small molecules or other efforts in which we can support the broader sickle community because therapeutic
Okay.
approaches aren't for everyone. So we have a lot in store, some things that we'll tease around and have discussions with folks about. Um, but also having further discussions about what are the needs of the community. I know at
Yes.
the summit we talked a lot about some of the work that we've done with many of the members of Sickle Cell Community Consortium across the states on legislative and policy efforts. And so
Yes.
we've made tremendous progress with the community to advance state legislation, passage of policies and monies being appropriated to community-based organizations to support the sickle community, in partnership with huge organizations like the National Caucus of Black State Legislators and Nobel Women, who have really championed sickle cell disease and created that as one of their missions for their organizations. And it's with the community that we do these roundtables across states to have discussions with the community, and I'll talk a little bit about that in my opening remarks on some of the programs during convention. But it's not without the community that we're able to do this, because if your voice wasn't there, it doesn't matter that a biotech company is coming and talking to these state legislators. It's important to hear your voice, and I encourage everyone to be their own advocate, to support the broader sickle community, no matter where they are, because there's lots of issues. Yes, we can continue to advocate for national efforts, but we see that sometimes that takes a long time. And
Long
you can
time.
make small incremental changes at the state level, or even big jumps, because we've had some states really jump out there and do some
Yeah.
great legislation for the sickle community. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. One of the comments that are as you can see at the bottom sounds like Vertex is invested. Yes, they are. But they really are, and like I said earlier, it's not just talk, they really are about the community. So people are saying thank you, Dr. Lee, for your support, and they appreciate you. So I just wanted to go ahead and say that as well. But yeah, I agree, like you guys have really made sure that the voice of the warriors in everything you do. So you have really taken in nothing for us without us, and made it to where everything that I've seen, even on the pamphlet, you guys are getting inserts. Those that registered on time have gotten inserts in your boxes about Vertex. And so in that, if you go to that website on there, if you look at that information, you'll see what I'm talking about. But they have this amazing site that talks about possibilities. And so it's beautiful to me. I'm not going to give it away, but if you will look at that and look at what Vertex is doing and what they're planning to do, I think you would get a glimpse of who they really are. So I just wanted to throw that out there real quick. Now, Dr. Lee, I always say Dr. Tasha, but Dr.
It's
Lee,
okay. I just go by Tasha. You know that. We don't use
I
those
know.
formalities.
Listen, I'm trying to be more professional, Tasha. Okay, anyway, so what I wanted to talk to you about is more or less that you guys are going to be having a focus group at the convention. And so, what I want to let everyone know is you can sign up for the focus group. That is on, if you go to the Hoover app, we've put the sign up sheet there. But can you tell us a little bit more about what that focus group will entail? What are you guys are going to be talking about? Because you guys have left that open for us. And so, you sent me some information about it, but I wanted you to just kind of tell people what that focus group will be about. What can they expect from that?
Absolutely. So, as a company, we truly do value and honor, the warrior theme of nothing for the community without the community. And this will follow our lunch and learn. So last time we got bombarded with a whole bunch of questions on Hoover. And so instead of trying to answer those one off, it's kind of going to be a community forum, town hall of sorts to give us feedback on what Marjorie and I shared, to answer any questions, or even connect you with our various state and grassroots advocacy team members in the states in which many of the warriors may live and want to further engage with in terms of activities happening within their state. So it really will be a listening session where we would appreciate your feedback, your thoughts, and recommendations as we make progress to continue our partnership with the community. And so it really is less of a focus group and more so a listening session, because we don't try and profess to do things for the community. We want to understand, what are we doing well? What are we not doing well? What are things that you think that we can, help the community with? Because it's not that we want to push our own agenda. We want to support the community where the need exists.
Okay. Thank you so much for that,
No
Tasha.
worries.
I said she could say it way better than I could from the email. But yeah, so guys, the focus group is going to be happening on Thursday. And so from that 3 to 4 hour. And so they will be there. So it's open for them, guys. So this is a time where if you wanted to say something, if you wanted your voice to be heard, then this is that time for you to go ahead and be a part of it. And again, I like how you put
Or
it. If
ask
you want,
questions too,
or
because
ask
Marjorie
questions,
Marjorie
yeah.
will also be there. So
Yeah.
if you have questions from a medical perspective that she can answer, of course, we always say go to your physician first because they know you and your disease better than someone like us would. So it really is a decision that you and your physician would need to make. But if there's general questions about the presentation, we'll be able to answer those as well.
Awesome. And it'll be right after the lunch and learn so that whatever they're talking about, you can go right there. Because you know how when you're at an event and a presentation has been given and you're kind of like, wait, I have these questions and I want to talk to this person. Well, virtually, the only way that we could think of to do that was doing vendor booths. But for this purpose, instead of them really doing, and I like how you put it, instead of you're really doing a focus group, it's just an open forum. So come to it, ask your questions, get more information. So I really like how you put that. I may have to add open forum on there for your session. But yeah, I think that's really cool though, because they're actually spending that time not just for the lunch and learn, but they're going to come right back after that and say, hey, so what questions do you have? Follow me into the hallway basically and ask your questions away. So that's how I'm going to put that. And when I do my announcements at the convention, you guys know I like y'all to talk back to me. And so what I want you to do is talk back to Vertex. Now we've said along a lot of years, it's always been listen to us, listen to us, listen to us. They're listening. So this is the time that I need you guys to show up and tell them what you want, what you need. What are your needs? What are your real needs? What do you expect from Vertex? Because I know that, they're working with the community, but I think they also want to know, what do you expect from them? What do you want to see from them for the community? So unless I'm wrong, Tasha, but I think that's what you guys have given me the impression of, this, that you want to know what the community wants from you. What should be the next step for the next 2 years? Like what does that look like? And so in order for them to know, you have to show up and actually talk to them. So
Exactly. It's opportunities too to identify gaps.
yeah.
Maybe there's
Oh
something that
yes.
has not been done yet in the community
Oh,
that you
that's
would you would
good.
like to explore. This is an opportunity to kind of tease that out, talk about it, start that little seed, and it can sprout into this amazing tree. Because we need some shade. I don't know about y'all, but it's hot.
We were just talking about that. Texas is so hot. Yes. Okay. I love it. Okay. So the last question that like I said, I'm not going to like just keep you all day because I really could. I absolutely love Tasha. But the last question that I want to ask, it's not really a question. Um, for the community, what is one thing that you would say to the community, whether it's personal or Vertex? What could you say to them in hopes of encouraging people to be a part of making that move, or making that needle move? Like, what could you say to them? How could they do, what is one way that they could do that, even working with Vertex? Do you guys have because some people have like it's not listening sessions, but it's like what is it called? I don't forgot.
We have panels, if that's what you're
Panels.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we do have panels. I definitely will say I really would like people to engage with us on our roundtables. So I mentioned that briefly, and we talked about it at the summit, but I can talk a little bit more about that. So, in particular, these state roundtables are opportunities for the
Yeah.
warrior voice to be amplified, and this is tremendously important to see that needle move. So I know on a national level we have the NASEM report. So the National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine, I believe is the M. I'm very bad with acronyms these days. For a number of reasons, Sharonda, you know. Um,
Yeah.
but the NASEM report really did outline opportunities to really move that needle. But that's a national. There are state level things that are also included that we really can't address. And that warrior voice at these roundtables, in partnership with state legislators and other organizations, really have the opportunity to move that needle, and sharing, your challenges, your barriers. We know that access to care in some parts of this country are just
Oh my.
so horrible.
Yeah.
That there's not an adult physician that is knowledgeable about sickle cell disease. I know my cousins have faced that, and I've connected them with folks. I think it's truly important to utilize your voice, and also share your concerns, because if you sit in a vacuum and continue to just talk to yourself about the issues, nothing's going to change.
Nothing's gonna change.
And talking to fellow warriors helps, but you also need to talk to decision makers. So, those elected officials who you're paying your tax dollars to support, to really make change in areas where the change is needed. So I think the roundtables is one. The other thing I would really emphasize is, and you talk a lot about this at the convention. You have the men's only sessions and things, but I really want to see the warrior man voice out there a lot more, and I really
Yeah.
encourage that. Because sometimes people ask me the question, legislators and others who are less familiar with sickle cell, does it only affect women? We see so many women's voices out there, and there are a lot of issues that women can convey, but it's best coming from the male perspective. And I think that that's important as well. We have some amazing warrior men out there, but they're not the
Do.
only. Those handful are not the only. And so I
Yeah.
encourage all of you, even the mothers and grandmothers and warrior family members and caregivers, to really encourage that male voice to come out and share their perspectives, because it's really important. But I know my father's a strong black male, my husband's a strong black male. They don't talk about health. Um,
At all.
and I think it's not even just black males, it's males in
Just
general. I was
males.
at
Yes.
another conference recently, and I just kept seeing the women, but I was sitting next to a young male, and I asked him, I was like, "You seem very active, engaged. Why are others not?" He's like, "I don't know. I think it's just something with us men." But I'm an advocate, and I'm happy to speak out. But I think we just have to encourage that, and really support the community to amplify their voice. I
That's
think the other
good.
thing, if you have not read the Nason report, I don't know if we can drop a link in to
Oh
Facebook
yeah.
after this recording, but I think everyone at least needs to see the pillars, the major areas and recommendations. But the report is really long. I will say that. I think it's longer than my dissertation. Maybe, I don't remember. But it's quite long, but there's some really nice synthesized small pieces that people can take back and really advocate for and see change. And I think the other thing that's really important, and I know that there's going to be talks by various groups, but really being an advocate for yourself in a healthcare setting. And I know there's groups like Dr. Simone's group, who's really
Yeah.
educating the community on how to be a best advocate. But there's guidelines out there. Know those guidelines, review those guidelines. ASH came out with guidelines, for those of you who aren't aware, that really talk about the appropriate care that individuals living with sickle cell disease should be receiving. And if you're unaware of those guidelines, I'm happy to connect you with my former colleagues, or we can put that link in the response as well. But I think that we
That's a
just
good
have to
idea.
share information and empower the warrior community and the warrior ally community. I think that's what I was recently titled on social media, warrior ally. But yeah, I think it's important to really educate yourself so that you can best advocate for yourself.
No, I agree. Going back to the men track, Oh, we have really grown in our men's track. Like it started off just like maybe a handful, and we were looking at the numbers this morning, and we have over 100 men registered for the convention. Listen, I was so excited, and Clayton Andrews and a slew of other men. They've been meeting, and one of the biggest things for Dr. Bailey is like that was her thing. I want to know your voice. I can't speak for you. What kind of education do you want out there? What do you want to say? What stories do you want to be told about men? She was like, I can't do that for you. Like, and so she actually have been having meetings with the men in the community, and they have shown up, and I'm so super excited. And I hope that they, come and really get information from the other men. Like last year, well, during the 24-hour event that we had this year, we separated the men and the women, and Tasha, we had to like literally leave them in the room because they were like, oh, we love this. You gave us some space. So I agree with you. Like men in this community, I think sometimes they want to speak, but because it is so heavy with loads and loads of women, I think they feel like they've been drowned out. And so we have created a space for men to come, and we have like 3 or 4 sessions that is men only. So if you're a man out there and you see this video, there is a space for you. So I agree with everything Tasha just said. Sharing your voice,
A
sharing
quick
your
question: are
story.
those moms still coming? Because as a family member, I used to go to those men's sessions because I would see all the other, warrior moms there, and just understanding those needs. So I think, I, just a question.
Yeah, no. So we
Okay.
asked the men that question, and they said no. They would
Okay.
rather have that space to talk.
Well, let's
Um,
respect that.
Yeah,
Respect
exactly.
that.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Now, they did say during the Caregiver Summit, which is in November, they will open up that space so that other parents and mothers and whoever, girlfriends, whoever want to come and listen at that session, we're actually going to do a whole session of Ask the Warrior Man. So they're willing to speak up and be vulnerable in that moment. I was like, oh, really? Okay. Don't tell you want to tell me one time. I'm writing it down. So we're gonna have that on one too during the caregiver summit, but this one they really, really want to. And what was so interesting about it, Tasha, is that they said that they really wanted to meet other men warriors and really get their side of things too.
Gotcha.
So I was like, oh, I get it. I
Mhm.
get it. It's kind of like a meet and greet for them so that they can have their conversation. So I said, okay.
Mhm.
Last year I had to go in to do some tech stuff, and they after I finished, I was like, okay, I'm done. They was like, all right, you can leave now.
Okay.
I was like, but I love that. I absolutely love it. And what this is probably a little bit off, but I did want to also talk about the children's track, raising up warriors, to not be ashamed and to raise them up as advocates. I think it's going to be helpful, because the warriors that I've seen in Next Generation, please, no, I have called them children for the very last time. They have gotten on me. They're like, Miss Sharonda, we're the next
Yes, it's the next
generation.
generation.
We're the next generation.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, Scott just put it in the chat. Next generation. They really are. They were talking to, because I go to their meetings, and they were talking about how, as a young boy, they didn't have, other guys that they talked about certain things with. And at the Warriors convention, they get to be involved in the, men's track sometimes, in the men's gaming, and that helped them. And last year, they had like a mentoring session. And when I tell you, I was like, y'all, they had a mentoring session, but we couldn't be in it. And so they didn't want to record it. They just wanted to talk. They just wanted to have conversations. So I think that's what's going to happen again this year. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because that is so important in this community that other men just start speaking up. But I think it starts younger, training
Yeah.
them up to be advocates and have that information, and have a group of men that are willing to say, okay, if you something's going on with you, call me. And they've
Mhm.
gotten permission from the parents. So it's been amazing. It's been amazing. Okay.
It's
I
also
want to
great.
go.
I've also seen some of the older warriors, and I'm talking
Yes.
about our
Yes.
octogenarians and 70, 80, 90-year-olds living with sickle cell disease, and it's in person, that fan moment where all of the warriors come around them like, "Oh my gosh, you give me
Yes.
so much inspiration," because
Yeah.
We've heard of expiration dates. Don't listen to that for those caregivers and families who are new to sickle cell disease. It can be a scary time. I had to talk to my cousin, the one that I said had
Yeah,
messaged me. Her daughter was born right after World Sickle Cell Day, 2020. So the middle of the pandemic, she found out
yeah,
her infant had sickle cell SS. And she was like, she was just so scared. I was like, there are resources out there for you. There are
absolutely.
groups like, Sickle Cell Community Consortium and others. You don't listen to that. There are
Yeah,
people that I've met. You just have to get into great care, get someone to support you and provide the best treatment for your daughter for her disease, because every person's disease is just different, and I think that that's something
so
everyone needs
different.
to acknowledge.
Yeah, and you can't put us in a box at all. Like everybody is different. Like it's not even state by state. It is literally, home by home, person by person. Everybody is so
Yeah,
different. And so once people realize that and stop putting all warriors in one box, I
yeah,
think it'll be a better place. Dr. Bailey always talks about this next generation team that was at our event, our last 2019 event in person. And what she said was, this is a place where, and I'm summarizing, where sickle cell is normal for her, whereas it's never been normal, and where she was scared to talk about it or scared to, show up for anything. So when she was at our 2019 convention and everybody had sickle cell, she just felt like she was normal in that moment. And I'm like, I'm a crybaby. Don't get me to crying. I will cry on you on camera. Will not matter, because listen, I cries for the people. So that was just encouraging too. So it's been exciting to be with the consortium. I think I've been with them now since 2019. And I'm not turning back. So it's kind of one of those things
I
that
think
once
that's where I met you. It was Texas, right?
yes,
Yes.
yes, you
Yep.
did. And so it's like a family reunion. It's like family. Once you start meeting people in the community, you really find your group of people or your support and your team of people, and it's really nice to have. And so I think all of our conventions, I think that's where the engagement comes from. It's like, okay, we're doing a family reunion virtually, and that's okay. We get to talk to each other all day. So I know I'm rambling now, but I'm so glad that you came on, and thank you guys for being the title sponsor for the convention. We really, really, really appreciate you guys. It's been amazing to have a partnership. Usually people talk about, sponsors as this big scary thing, but for me and Vertex, I feel like it's a partnership. I feel like when I talk to you guys, it's always about what we can do, what can we accomplish. And even with the town halls that we've been planning and making sure that warriors voices are heard, I think it's, for me, Vertex has become one of those partnerships that I'm so proud of. I'm so excited to have, and I cannot wait to see what is next. So that's what I think. Do you have anything last that you would like to say before we wrap this up? I just wanted
You
to let you guys
haven't
know.
registered, register now. You're going to miss
Please do.
out. It is an
Please
amazing
do.
convention. It's unlike any other. And I can't say I have favorites, but I definitely think there's something for everyone, and I think
Yes.
that what was formerly known as the Children's Shack Next Generation, and
Mhm.
Silly Cell and Lisa and all of
Yes.
those amazing women and men who really help that next generation really use their voices, learn about their disease, and do it in a fun way where they don't feel different,
Very. Yeah.
because it can be isolating. Living with a rare condition, a chronic condition, can be isolating. And being around your peers really helps kind of strengthen you and support you, and really gives you that like oomph to move forward. So
I
encourage
agree.
everyone to really, even chiming in online and following on
Yeah.
social media, follow the consortium online. And I'm not on all the channels. I don't know. It's TikTok now. I'm not on that. I'm
Yes.
primarily on Twitter, so it's Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, which I'm not on Instagram. I look young, but I'm not. Um, Definitely social, even beyond just the convention. Stay engaged. I think
Yeah.
it's truly important to be around your community, and it can be isolating during this pandemic. And this is a way to actually come together.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with everything you just said. And yes, guys, please register. You can go to sicklecellconvention.org to register. And again, like I said at the beginning, Registration will be open until the very, very last day. And then Vertex will have a booth, so you can go visit their booth. And we do have children's track, we have trait track, we have men's track. And one thing we haven't really talked about, which is young adult track. And I
Yes.
know that's a little bit, you're like young adult and next generation. Well, next generation goes from 4 to 12. Now, 13 and up, 13 to 21, that is young adult. That's when those transition years are happening. And you transition from pediatrics to adult care. So Mia Robinson, who is our new president of General Assembly, she will be the one taking on the young adult track this year, and they have some great things that is in store for you guys. Now we are all doing vision board parties, so that's a thing that's happening. So make sure that when you get your box, be careful because the vision board is in there. So when you get ready to open it, don't tear it apart because you got some cool things that are in the boxes. So young adult track, but then we also have men's track, men only, and then we have women only. Block party is going to be something we're definitely excited about, but we're also doing, and we didn't talk about this, Tasha, but we're doing things like healthy cooking on Sunday. And we're also doing, every day we're doing something about the body. So we're talking about, what are those things that you can use for smoothies for your body. Like, so we're, and if you register, you know that a blender comes in your box if you chose it. I know, Dr. Bailey. I mean, when I
Wow.
tell you the consortium is extra, extra, we are extra, extra. But it's not about that. We were trying to make sure that you have the tools that you need. So we're not just talking about it, but that you do have the tools. Now, one cool thing that I thought that was super cool this year beyond the blender is that we're actually sending out blood pressure kits, um, pulse oximeters, because Dr. Bailey's thing was we need to make sure that we're training our community how to read our vitals correctly, making sure that we are the experts in this space, experts in our health. We are the citizen scientists. If you remember 2020, that's when we brought citizen scientists, and we're bringing citizen scientists education back. And the way we're doing that is we're actually having hands-on workshops, not just presentations, but what you have in your box, you're going to utilize. It's not just for pretty, it's actual things that we're going to talk about in our hands-on workshop. So you don't want to miss it. And yes, you can still get a box. Yes, you can still register, but you want to do it as soon as possible. So that's the coolest thing I think about this entire convention this year, is that everything is hands-on. Like, there's something for everybody. And then the one of the last things, which I was like, Dr. Ray, are you sure you want to do this? We actually are sending out plant kits because mental health. We want to make sure that if you pick that you want to be a part of the gardening session, we have somebody that's going to come in and they're going to talk about gardening for your health, because it helps your mental health. And then you get to grow your own food. And we're teaching you about that. So these are things that I have never had at a convention, but these are things that the team wanted to do for the community, because we want to make sure that you have the warrior tools. And so warriors, get in there, register, and get your box, because this is things that you can use beyond the convention. These are things that are yours. You don't send them back. You don't do any of that. This is what we have sent to you for to build your warrior toolkit. Last year we did building your warrior library. This year we're building your warrior toolkit. So we're just giving you guys tools for your entire health, your mind, body, and spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, Tasha, for joining me tonight. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you, Vertex, for being our title sponsor. And I thank you for sitting down and chatting with me, because you didn't have to, but I appreciate it. I
Aw,
really,
thank
really
you.
appreciate it. Do you have any final things that you want to say to the people? And then we're going to sign off.
I look forward to seeing you all, and I'm definitely going to send those links that I mentioned to Sharonda, because I feel that you always have to build people up, like you said.
Yeah.
Build and add additional skill sets and
Yes.
knowledge, and I think it's tremendously important to the warrior community to continue to do so. So, I'll see you guys around. Make sure to come to our session if you have the time. I know it's challenging with so many different competing
Yes.
priorities these days. Stop by the booth. If you haven't, download the Hoover app to your phone so you have no excuse. You don't have to be in front of a computer. You can take it on your phone while you're walking, while you're commuting, whatever you're doing, whatever
Yep.
else. But yeah, we'll see
Yep.
you guys for Warrior Convention 2022.
Yes, Ninth Annual Warrior Convention is happening this week, started on Wednesday. So I will see you guys there. Meet the vendors. It's happening on Wednesday as well. Register so you can know who the vendors are and who's actually going to be speaking. And then we are having on that same evening, Vertex will be coming to do some opening remarks. But then we are doing speed networking, which means it's going to randomly select somebody so that you can talk to them for a few moments and get their contact information. We wanted something super cool and fun. So please make sure you register. And I will see you guys this week. Talk to you later. Bye bye.
Bye.